Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jack, back in to bring you Mythic Champions of the Light Healing Guide, and this boss is kind of a pushover. Starting it off for Battle for Dazar'alor, it is one of the easiest healing fights, really, that we've had, one of the easiest opening fights that we've really ended up having in quite a long time, and this boss will very likely be puggable almost immediately as we're going through this, right? A lot of the fight mechanics stay the same. You will still have to deal with the different seals the boss will be having, one allowing you to be able to focus the boss, and another focusing on the ads throughout the encounter. Before healed it, which was pretty overkill, as many of our healers did really need, myself included, did want to be able to have a chance at the Azurite pieces, which were particularly good for us, and at that point we did also want to be able to trade some of those pieces, if possible, to any of the other DPSers. Right? So for this fight, we opted just to go in with those 4 healers, though you could probably bring 2 or 3 and be totally fine for it. In terms of healing cooldown order, I think a lot of it will depend on how strong your DPS is, as we were able to just play it out pretty normally, going from the first seal to be able to burn the boss, switching seals and killing the ads as rapidly as we could, holding very similar position to we did as heroic on heroic, where we were quickly able to switch targets and start burning down that Crusader first, while dropping interrupts onto those disciples to prevent any healing from going off. A lot of the DPSers were able to focus down those ads and prevent any of the extra heals, the new Mythic Lay on Hands mechanic basically, from going off onto the boss, and it was a pretty easy straight up burn for us. And at this point, we made sure that we were able to stack pretty much all of our raid cooldowns together, because we had so many of them, to be able to push through, stack up Frida's energy as high as possible, and push for her larger AoE effect to burst just before her wings went off, to reduce the bit of damage that went off onto the raid. So the Reckoning would go off, pulse the damage onto the group, he would switch back into her Seal of Retribution, and then popping her Avenging Wrath, we continued to tunnel her to be able to take her down quickly. This fight, pretty much, like I said, was a pushover, but it's a good way to be able to get started in Mythic Dazar'alor and help prepare the rest of your team for the damage that will be coming up. We'll still get some opportunities to pump out a little bit more healing near the end of the fight, as the damage does end up ramping up, and that'll be a lot of times where you want to save any extra cooldowns, just to make sure any avoidable damage doesn't end up killing anybody along the way here. At this point, working together with your healers and getting a good expectation of how you guys want to be able to function together is going to be key. Or if you're just looking for some quick tips and tricks, the big things is going to be dodging the hammers, making sure you're having your back to that Darkforged Crusader as often as possible, and this boss really shouldn't give you too much trouble at all. Thanks so much for watching, guys. A lot more in-depth videos going to be coming as the fights accelerate in difficulty, so thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check out the live stream linked in the description below, and links to my UI and other config is also linked down there as well. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'll catch y'all then.
Thank you.